This is a mono red Prowess deck featuring Electrostatic Infantry. We've played a lot of Prowess variants on the stream in the past, but mono red has always been one I feel like has had tons and tons and tons of potential, where your curve is super low, you have a very clean, easy mana base that's very painless, it makes you better at racing opposing decks, and specifically, the mono red version that gets to play a bunch of copies of Underworld Breach as like a really powerful grindy element has been very strong, but I have always felt like this deck is just like one good threat away from having a good construction. And so a lot of times you'll see people play Ragavan in this list, a lot of times people see people play Burgi sometimes, it's like a combo finish with Underworld Breach, and to be honest, I think both those cards are really underwhelming. Ragavan in particular is a card I really don't like in Prowess. I think that because your deck is so synergy based, a lot of times when you hit cards from your opponent, they don't really help facilitate your game plan very much. It doesn't synergize with all of your Prowess spells. Ragavan is obviously a good card, but I think you really want to have that kind of Prowess effect. And Electrostatic Infantry is very powerful, albeit 2 mana, but I think with such a low curve, 1/2 mana threat is fine. 1/2 trample, cast instant sorcery, put a +1 counter on it, very sick with Mutagenic Growth, Lava Dart, Manamorphose, and Underworld Breach also, where you can kind of sometimes assemble like this kind of combo finish where you breach, cast a bunch of Mutagenic Growths, kill them in one go with this, with trample. Dan with the 4 months, revalid to 25. Appreciate you. Yeah, you can play Kiln Fiend also. So one thing I think is really tough with Kiln Fiend is it's really tough to play Kiln Fiend, Crash Through, Underworld Breach, and Mutagenic Growth. It's very difficult to fit all of those cards in the deck. Where like I think one of the biggest draws to being mono red is Underworld Breach. And I don't think Kiln Fiend is a good card unless you're playing 4 Crash Through, and even then, it has its moments of just being chump blocked, because you're not always going to draw that Crash Through. But the fact that Infantry just has Trample on it by itself really eases the deck's construction. I'm still playing 1 Crash Through to go with your other creatures. This maybe could be a different flex spot, but I think like this having Trample makes everything like I'll have a lot less tension. Okay, let's keep this on the draw. Yeah, Doom wasn't playing Scion, but Doom's 80 card version was the same as mine. I was just playing this version. Trying to be like a bit more lean, mean, more proactive. And Scion Draco I think is very interesting, being like the only proactive 2-drop you can possibly really realistically play in this archetype, and you're already jumping through the domain hoops anyways. And it's also like absurd with Omnath giving this card first strike, hexproof, or first strike, vigilance, trample, hexproof, right? Which the card definitely needed to be good enough for the archetype. And then, but I do think there's some flex spots here. Like I'm not in love with all these Ardent Pleas. The number of Cascade spells is kind of tricky. I think you could maybe play like 1 Ardent Plea, 1 Teferi. You could play no Ardent Plea, 2 Dead Gone. You could play some Furies instead. Okay, we're up against Affinity. We do have Shattering Sprees on the board, which is nice. I think there's a solid chance my opponent's going to double block here. Cool. Yeah, getting them off to Affinity this early is so great. So there's a Channeler. I think I will wait on these growths. Now that I have a second Channeler, I'll just wait 1 turn. Because I think missing my land drop, playing Mutagenic Growth, likely getting Delirium is like a good enough turn next turn. And I would ideally also like to save these for the Infantry triggers. Thoughts of Jegantha versus no Jegantha and Affinity? My preferred Affinity variants play Urza usually. I'm not as big a fan of these like super low to the ground aggro variants that seem to be really popular. I personally really like the bigger versions that play Urza, either mono blue or blue white. Okay, so we do find Delirium. We don't find that elusive second land. We should play more than 16 lands, I think. That being said, if if you're playing this affinity deck and you just can play a Jegantha, you should play a Jegantha. That card is just so good. So I think I'm growthing the Swiftspear. Graveyard. There's been a lot of looks at a second land. I feel like this happens so often when I play Prowess variants. I just like... just constant mana screw, mana flood. Although I don't need only a third land. Oh, maybe I should have played 2 1-drops just as chump blockers here. Although I think 1 chump blocker should be enough. They got no cards in their hand. You just dismember the sideboard versus Jegantha. Yeah, I mean, Dismember is kind of a weird card to evaluate. It's not a card I'm super high on at the moment, but I'm also kind of the opinion that if you have Jegantha game 1, that's like I don't know that Jegantha, like if Jegantha is in your game 1 and in most of your sideboard games, I still think it's worth it most of the time. Although I do think it's more of a question. Do you want a Magus? I think on the play I'll play a Magus. Oh, maybe it's pretty good. I guess it's stopping them from getting blue man. I guess they have Springleaf Drums. Yeah, we'll play these on the play. Oh, I can also bring in Apostle's Blessing and choose Artifact. 31, think of the 4 months. Let me do that. Let me cut like 4 Lava Darts. Infiltrate having Trample is really nice. Not sure. Let's try this. Okay, let me cut up a Bauble actually. Not an exact science. Since Galvanic Blast can be hard to cast, that's fair. That's fair. Got lands and spells. I think because we have Shattering Spree in our deck, we're going to be, in theory, able to play a more controlling role in this matchup, and I think I can keep a slower hand like this. Thoughts on Micromancer and Snap Ephemerate Shell? I'm thinking about it. I think it's not amazing, to be honest. It seems there is some interesting synergy though that with Micromancer and the Aether Channeler, and the fact that they both get bounced to the Riptide Laboratory, the Wizard bounce land, which is like, I always feel like, you know, the Wizards deck has been like, you know, almost close to. I think with the Breach in my hand, I just want to use my mana. I think that deck has always almost been like a thing, and maybe like the presence of those two lets you have a Riptide Laboratory Wizard deck. Although the reality is like Laboratory probably can't really realistically be that big a part of your plan. Oh boy. Any Shattering Sprees? I think I still have to get aggressive here. If I attack, is there any way they block? I think with the Welding Jar they always block, actually. But next turn, I can go Breach, Manamorphose, Bolt, I think. I don't know if I have enough cards, but I have the Channeler and the Fetch Land to fill up a lot of cards here.
Would you like some coffee?
That would be great, yeah.
Would you like some protein coffee?
No.
Okay.
So I could take 16 and try to kill them. I think I like that. Yeah, I have Watcher for tomorrow in the list. Watcher like entering like a 2-mana creature that enters tapped in the Ragavan format kind of sucks, but it's on my radar. Bummer. Need to find a Shattering Spree, I guess. I suppose I have a lot of looks at one. Keep that on top. What are the few cards we keep on top here? Graveyard the Bolt, have plenty of bolts. And we obviously want to keep fueling our Breach. Yeah, just kind of digging for a Shattering Spree to get... although if they Shattering Spree the Nettle Cyst... So if we Shattering Spree, they Welding Jar the Nettle Cyst. I guess I can just replicate though. In theory. One. So 1, 2, 3. Regen would leave it tapped. They're regenerating the Welding Jar, not the creature though, right? So I don't think that works. Oh, but now I can give protection from black to my Swiftspear. I forgot that we had this as an out also. So is protection from black on Swiftspear 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? Yeah, I think that works. With the lightning bolt here. Let me just lava dart them though. This gets to another or one more card in the yard. I can just keep going for almost like no cost here. Although I guess sorry, there's just no reason to do this. There's no reason to do this, they're just dead. Sorry. Oh fuck. I need to make white mana. I'm at 1. Not Xaxes. But it is exactly enough because I can just go. Yeah, 9. It's still Xaxes. Okay. Make white mana, huh? Probably didn't see this one coming. Forgot I was at 1. So if they hadn't attacked with both creatures, I would have had enough life to pay them. Cool turn. Why is that card red, not black? I mean, I think it's, you know, not a complete color ply break, right? Where red has Past in Flames. It also has, like, you know, this kind of similar ability. Or you could even maybe say, like, Yawgmoth's Will is a color pie break. And that ability should have always been red. I'm not sure. Hopefully this is a red removal spell, not a white one. Or Abundant Heart here, Abundant Growth. Okay, would also love to draw land. 2 more looks. Cool. Is it correct to Mutagenic Growth the Swiftspear or Channeler here for 2 extra damage? I think I like that. Gonna surveil cards to the yard pretty aggressively. Obviously, Dark goes to the yard. Sailor, 16 months. Appreciate you. Maybe they have Solitude here, maybe they don't. Good to win the die roll in this matchup, obviously. Bolo, 5 months. Wait, the no balance tournament's still going. It shouldn't be. I don't know if it went on the screen implies that. I lost in the quarters. It was fun. Okay, punished for using the Mutagenic Growth. Guess I should turn off F6 though, so I can, yeah, Lava Dart to save the Infantry here. Could you somehow be not full screen and have the program size be almost full screen except at the top? I'll work on it. I know. It's not the card. I know it's fixable. I will fix it. I promise. I know it's been going on too long. I think it's kind of funny for now. I know it's a little annoying. It'll be fixed. Found a prismatic ending. Getting kind of 80 cards by the way here, huh? Although I do think that in theory, Underworld Breach does let you fight through this kind of removal heavy draws. Bit better if you don't have to sacrifice your second land though. They pitched an Omnath of Solitude, but that might have been their only white card. Okay, I'll play Channeler here, I think, over the Mage. Yeah, I put the block bar undefeatable up there so people would stop asking about it, but I think that may have made the issue worse. Can you play lands off Breach? I don't think so, right? Yeah. But I think if I draw a land next turn, I can go Breach, Crash Through, Growth, and if they tap out for Yorion and they don't have Solitude, we can win. Which I guess is a lot of things to go right, huh? Huh. So there's Yorion, 2 mystery cards. They might have a counterspell. They can have counterspell, they can have Ice Fang. I think drawing lightning bolts, I'm pretty interested in just bolting them, then casting light up the stage. They have lightning bolt plus counterspell. Well, this was a unimaginably best case scenario here. If we find Mutagenic Growth, land Lightning Bolt, land Lava Dart. Okay, now we can find Bauble or Mutagenic Growth. Okay, just out of reach of my opponent. Don't celebrate yet, however, my dear Spikelings. My opponent is almost guaranteed to top deck Omnath here. Don't celebrate yet. We all know how this goes. A what? Okay, they do it. This is, I don't know, it's just like such a common play pattern against 4-color Omnath. You get them such low life total, nothing else stabilizes them besides Omnath. But thankfully, it looks like we're gonna get there this time. Even if they have to have like Solitude plus removal spell plus white card to Solitude their own Yorion. Wow, good game, good game. I'm gonna bring in these 2 copies of Apostle's Blessing, and I think I'm going down 1 Lava Dart, 1 Crash Through. Yeah, if this was a match that mattered, they'd have found it. Okay, so I think if I draw a land, I'm going to play Soul-Scar Mage turn 1. If I don't, I'll just go Swiftspear, Bauble, try to find second land. Omnath Mega showing a no banless modern. I think there was like 1 or 2 people playing Omnath. I think that the like mid-range decks of the no banless modern tournament are really tough to figure out. I think that they were some of the hardest decks to build. Like obviously not knowing with so many crazy options for card advantage, not knowing like what the best interaction is to pair with these options. At the very least, I know I was having a hard time figuring out how to build those decks. Are they getting the Bauble or the Swiftspear? They choose Swiftspear. Eldarmor's Call on top. Love to draw land number 2, although we maybe have like 2 turns to do so. There we go. So hopefully no more exile-based removal. Would love if they bolt me on my upkeep, huh? Wishful thinking, I guess. I'm playing 16 lands in this deck, but I don't know. It kind of feels like no matter what I do when I play Prowess variants, we have a lot of mana flooded, a lot of mana screw. I do think 16 is the right number for this list, though. Wait, how many cards do they have? 80 cards, by the way? It's not a bad pickup. Obviously still need to find a creature. But not filling up the graveyard here this turn. Also nice for whenever we find an Underworld Breach. The yard's going to be very full. Yeah, I'm going to hold that Swiftspear till next turn. Obviously, like, this Apostle's Blessing is really telegraphed. Why play the Swiftspear Soul-Scar Mage, casting out damage before removal spells? So, in that spot, I really want to find my second land, and so... fuck. It is so hard to play around Chalice out of 4-color. So if I had the second land in my hand, I would have played the I would have played the mage first, but I wanted to get the damage out of the baubles from the Swiftspear, and I needed to do that on turn 1. I'm on the play for game 3. They play like 3 chalice sometimes 1. I don't think I just can't bring in Shattering Spree. What's on a mull to 6? Maybe mulligan. Yeah, they just can't like mulligan for its chalice so aggressively because they're 80 cards. Kozilek returns for hammer time, so you can kill Sanctifier and back. Maybe can come in against Yogg, but probably not. Forest. Damn it. The Rubbins. I would if that was my opening hand, I'd definitely wait till turn 2, I think, to play the Swiftspear. Feels so bad. For the opener for Soul-Scar +1 Bauble, I like very strongly disagree, but whatever. You can take that line. I feel like Swiftspear Bauble is like clearly the best line. It maybe looks a little worse because we bricked on our second land, but. And Athena's very happy to have a friend. Esther's very happy to have a very snuggly dog, because that's what she's used to, and Athena's not a very snuggly dog. Other creatures, we can board it for chalice that aren't dead if we don't have it. I mean, Crater Maker is like an embarrassing card to play. You know what I mean? Like if they don't have if they don't draw the chalice, it's like I think you just play Shattering Spree, and the reality is it's like it's just very difficult to bring in Shattering Spree against Omnath because such a big range of their draws don't include having it, which in like a weird fucked up way is part of the reason why it's so good in their deck. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's tough. Maybe there's, you know. I'm gonna keep the channeler. You know, I don't know the best answer, but it does seem like a problem.
Yeah, Lucy's following me. Athena follows Lucy.
Yeah. Lucy follows us. Things we heard, and then Athena follows Lucy.
And then they just play.
Yeah, and then Athena convinces Lucy to play for like 2 seconds.
They like playing in here because of the carpet.
Yeah. They like playing outside too.
Yeah.
But Yorion Zenith piles like a legacy for no balance. I don't know. It doesn't sound like something I'd like to play, to be honest. Seems very dirtily and dopey, and I can form with so many fast decks. I think that as time has gone on in Magic, that decks have like become less interested in access to like toolboxes and access to cards like Green Sun Zenith, and more interested in just making the most efficient play every single turn. If that makes sense. Okay, this is fine. Might upkeep Bolt, we'll see. They did graveyard a Murktide. Unclear if that's for Delirium or if they just have another Murktide in their hand. Let's upkeep Bolt. Gonna graveyard the Mountain, I think. I think just graveyarding really aggressively with the Breach and the Mutagenic Growth in the yard is fine. Okay. How many times can I Mutagenic Growth? I can go Breach, put 8th card in the yard, Mutagenic Growth, down to 5 cards plus growth, so we'll say 4 cards, back up to 5 with the Surveil. So I can Mutagenic Growth 3 times, I think, on this Channeler. Obviously not getting Delirium. I can also Lava Dart for 1 more trigger, though, so this is going to be potentially 5 Prowess triggers. 5 Prowess triggers plus 7 damage from the yard. So that's going to be 7, 12, 13. Putting my opponent to 1, or to 3, and then I can maybe find, like, just, like, Surveil into a Lightning Bolt. I guess I'm surveilling in the yard really aggressively, though. This does seem like a good turn. Let me just start off with the Lava Dart. This seems like a good enough to do, at least. Ooh, delirium. Okay, so what if I Bauble instead of Mutagenic Growth now? What if I just Bauble 3 times and draw 3 cards? Is 3 cards here better than 6 damage? It probably is. Oh, unless that Lava Dart let me growth again. So 1 growth. Oh, I think I can do it 4 times actually. Because every time I cast the growth, I get a card of the yard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 8 plus 4, 12. 12 extra damage on this 4 power creature is 16. I think this is enough. I think this is lethal. Let's try it. Let's just do it. I think I'm a card short of 4. Oh, maybe because maybe I'm counting wrong because that last card is not already in the yard, huh? No, yeah, you're right. Oh, I can find Lava Dart. Hold on, so this is still delirious here. This is still delirious. Is there any world I get delirium? Not really. Yeah, so let's just put my opponent to 2, and then Mishra's Bauble and get like 3 looks at a Lava Dart or Lightning Bolt. They have a Lightning Bolt. Oh, maybe I could have delved differently to get Delirium once the Breach went, though. One more is lethal. Yeah, I just didn't have it because I could have had it if I found the Dart though. Yeah, Growth would have taken away the Delirium, so the last Growth wasn't lethal. And so I think it made more sense to draw a card instead of just doing the same amount of damage and dealing us 2. Cool turn. I do think that this is like still my evaluation of Mono Red Breach, where Breach is so good, it's just so good, and like but you're interested in playing one more creature, I think. Although I wonder if it's just like reasonable to just play 4 Breaches and 12 creatures. Ragavan, maybe counterspell up, maybe not. This is Delirium, even if they counter, which is huge. Also makes Ragavan a chump blocker for Mage if they do have a Bolt for the Channeler. Graveyarding any non-Lava Dart Lightning Bolt card. Solo. So is Blue Red Prowess kind of nutty with Static and Sprite Dragon? Not with Static. Oh, why did I make red? Someone said, or blue. Someone said Sprite Dragon. I just tunnel visioned. Fuck. Hold on. Fuck. I think that Sprite Dragon is better than Infiltrate. You probably don't need both. I think like the issue is like splashing blue for Sprite Dragon, Electrostatic Pummeler, or not. Sorry, that's so bad. Obviously, you're good. Yeah, I just was reading about Blue Red Prowess, and my brain's like make blue. My delicate brain. Oh. Delicate earbuds keep falling out all the time. Yeah, so like the whole reason like we're playing Infantry is worse than Sprite Dragon, I think, but like the whole idea is that your mana becomes a lot better in a deck with so much Phyrexian mana. To have that smooth curve is really important. Okay, we would have had lethal. It's okay. Have plenty of good top decks that just win the game. And so like I think like you see a lot of people already playing mono red anyways because the mono red mana base is just so good, and like playing like one like extra threat is not that you're not that incentivized to do it, and you have Light at the Stage Breach, so like as good as Iteration is, and Iteration is like definitely a card you could splash for. It's also not that necessary either. That being said, I do think a blue splash for either Dragon or Ledger Shredder, and playing Expressive Iteration, and playing some blue sideboard counter spells could definitely be a good way to go. But, in a lot of ways, what made Is It Prowess so good back in the Heliod Is It Prowess metagame was just so easy to build because the Stormwing Entity was just so freaking good against hold on. Stormwing Entity was just so stinking good against something like this. I don't think I want 4 infantries on the draw against Fatal Push Lightning Bolt, which was just the whole metagame, and the deck was just very easy and clear to build. And I do think that Prowess still has a lot of potential. I found a lot of variants that I like. I think that maybe the Izzet version with Ledger Shredder and Phoenix has been the best one, but there's the archetype has a lot of potential, but there's like 7 different ways to build it, and they're all it's very, very close. House of Drake, thank you, Twitch Prime, thank you. Isn't a bugbear not working the games you flood? No, it's bad with Dart. Yeah, it's bad with Dart, and there's tapped on your Underworld Breach turns. The reality is also, like, I want to play a lot of fetch lands to fuel Underworld Breach. So I'm playing 8 right here. I would kind of even maybe like the 9th. And so, like, because Dragon Rage's Channeler is going to surveil basic mountains in the yard for you, and having a lot of lands is good on your Underworld Breach turns, I think you want to have 7 mountains as fetchable targets, because if you like surveil 2 or surveil 1 in the yard, sometimes you want to be able to get up to 5 or 6 lands. So like that's kind of the main reason like I'm not playing a. Oh, I thought I was playing a Canopy Lands. Maybe a different version got loaded. But I was definitely waffling back between like Canopy Land, not Canopy Land, Sokuzan, not Sokuzan. It's tough. Thross and Demi-Lich. Yeah, Demi-Lich is an interesting card in Prowess too, because you get to play so many 0-mana spells, and it's very resilient. I've tried it in the past. Yeah, I agree. Mutagenic Growth growing an entity felt so good. It just feels so bad that like now Unholy Heat kills it through a Mutagenic Growth, you know? Yeah, to consider Relic instead of Leyline? Not really. Well, I mean, I considered it, but it's like exiling your own yard and your Underworld Breach deck is tough. And the reality is Relic, Tormod's Crypt, Hearse, these cards are all kind of medium against Living End. You mostly just want this card for Living End. And so I think it's just best to play the best possible card against them. If it just makes sense to play blue with all these fetch lands anyways, 2 life for shock while fetching a lot might be worth it. Yeah, again, it's a conversation. I will say that like with all these like Mutagenic Growths and fetching shocking really aggressively and playing a lot of fetch lands, it adds up. It adds up a lot, and in those blue-red versions, I find myself just losing races a lot. But yeah, it's definitely a combo. Okay, let's just go Swiftspear, and then hold the growth. They get to connive, and if they block, then any of our creatures become 4 power. He kills the Shredder in combat. But yeah, again, like the blue version may be the best. Splashing green could be good. You get Ancient Grudge and Abundant Growth. Abundant Growth is really, really good. You have access to Throsta. Splashing white gives you, like, you can play the Boros Lubamancer deck. I think that deck's really good and underrated too. There's just like a lot of good versions of Prowess and no clearly best variant. But the pummeler in this list, I do think, like, it makes me a lot more excited about Mono Red. Still not sure how good I feel like the card is. Well, we're still in like early Dominaria United playtesting, try stuff out era of the format. Ooh. Oh boy, this should be game. What was the canister said about Swiftspear? Unplayable. Could keep this on the play. That is a deck that I want to work on. I don't know how much interest there is in Pioneer at the moment, but I'm interested enough to work on it and maybe play it on stream tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll just see how the week goes. I think I'm gonna shuffle the Soul-Scar Mage. Could keep it, but I kind of like have 2 threats in my hand here, so maybe I'm wanting to find more instant sorceries. Yeah, like maybe, you know, there's like rumors that Luris is getting unbanned in Pioneer, so like that might be, you know, it might just be a good time to return to it if that happens today or Wednesday or something. Founding Third Path fuels Breach. Yeah, that's true. Calm down. 28 months. Thank you. You calm down. Very interested in Pioneer content. I am too, yeah. Just, you know, there's a lot going on in Magic at the moment, and that's always a good thing for me, is that there's just a lot going on, a lot to do. No ban announcement today? Are we sure? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Doom, about the? Okay, they're on Bant Coco. Sadly, no Hierarch, but I do fight, or maybe have Hierarch. Yeah, what do you think, Doom, about the potential Luris unban? Do you think it's going to happen? Is anybody going to play it besides, I guess Heroic and Auras gets it. Can't wait till people try to register Omnath in Modern League. It doesn't let them. It'll be a beautiful day. What I played at Modern GP right now, Merc feels like not the best deck anymore. Yeah, I would say Murktide has. I agree that it doesn't feel like the best deck in the format. I don't know what I would play at a Modern GP right now. I do have a Modern tournament coming up this weekend. RCQs are pretty different from what a GP style event would be like. I don't know. I'm kind of inclined to play Reanimator this weekend for my RCQ. I think that I've really also been liking like the Jeskai Breach decks. I think those decks look great. I think that you know, Jesse and Ross and Corey have been doing so well with them. I just like those decks a lot too. Gonna go crazy this game. If I played Reanimator with Shadow Prophecy, no. Shadow Prophecy is definitely a card that I missed during spoiler season. My current kind of take though on these Reanimator variants, however, is that I really feel like the Esper list we have with Witch's Cottage, Aether Mage's Touch, I just don't think that we're going to find a better version than that one. I think that version is so good. And maybe there's some cool sideboard tech, like the mass portable whole card I've been saying, I think has potential like in the sideboard against the Graveyard Hate and stuff, but I just don't think that I think, you know, it's a 3 mana setup card in Modern. That just is asking so much. Oh, I was supposed to play the other Channeler, I think. Let's get another card in the yard. Oh, keep that on top though. So we get to go Channeler, Bauble, and I'm gonna Graveyard super aggressively here. Just fill up that graveyard for a crazy Underworld Breach turn next turn, hopefully with 2 Channelers in play. Technically, if you have all 3 Channelers, you can go through your entire deck. Sorry for oversight. We've now replayed Luris Band Pioneer. How does that happen? Like, literally, how does that happen? Ariel, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate you. Oh, I forgot to crack the Bauble. I guess where we're going, though, we don't need Mishra's Bauble. Bans are in a text file. But even then, it's like... How? Yeah, just gonna Graveyard super aggressively here. Maybe could have kept a Bolt, but I also built my opponent's deck and they don't have any counter spells. Maybe I'm just supposed to triple Bolt though. We get to draw some cards. Some cards. We can draw like 3 or 4 cards. Well, I'll draw this return though. Or for the off the Manamorphose. It's fine. Have a Lava Dart for that. Yeah. Very cool turn. Very cool turn. I wish you could play like 8 Dragon Rage's Channelers. That would make this deck so sick. Okay, Blessing seems good against the Solitude deck. Return, maybe good as a 1 or 2 of. Play Delver. Delver's not like I would play Ragavan over Delver, but I think you need the Prowess synergies. Cutting a Bauble's fine. Does deck benefit from having one Grape Shot? No, I don't think that you get in those kind of situations where you have double Channeler, Manamorphose, Breach, infinite cards in your yard. And it's like, the idea is like when you get into these situations in like game with Breach, you don't need to like combo kill your opponent from 20 because you're a red aggro deck. You're going to have dealt your opponent some amount of damage most likely over the course of the game. So I think it's just better to, you know, be able to deal the like 14 damage with a Breach instead, you know. No, there's not going to be a ban announcement. Wizards accidentally unbanned Luris and Pioneer. How that happens, I don't know. There's always just weird random stuff that happens during set releases. And that was one of the things that happened this time. Yeah, I feel like playing the infantry again for it to get bounced again is probably not correct. Okay. Okay, definitely need to kill this with Soul Herder being their top card. Graveyard, that's really nice. Still no Delirium somehow. I guess we get Delirium by sacking the land to the dart. Yeah, Luris is not being unbanned in Pioneer. They just accidentally set it as unbanned for a day, it seems. Which is weird for sure. I think let's play infantry, and then there's a good chance we're going to Mutagenic Growth in combat. Maybe Dart too. I think I'm down to just go in here. If they have we know they have a white card. If they have a Solitude too, it's not really that big a deal. And hopefully we can scry into a land. Got shot here. Mutagenic Growth here. Still no land. I wonder if Apostle's Blessing is worth keeping. I think I should just graveyard. Was Luris the last card banned at Pioneer? No, it was an Expressive Iteration and Winota. But it hits us with the GG to 2. We're 3-1, losing a brutal game to a deck playing 80 cards, by the way. I have a friend who still plays the Dragon Rage's Channeler version of Burn that I like to play back when Luris was legal with Channeler Bauble. Although maybe, you know, I do find that Burn players they just pick the deck up, you know. I really do feel like a huge amount of the decks have a ton of variation in how you can build them, which is awesome. Yeah, Living In is maybe a little bit of an exception, although there's definitely differences. Ooh. Alright, we are a Lava Dart deck, but we don't have Lava Dart in our hand. That's going to be a good one. That's going to help us not get beat by this Ragavan. They also mold to 6 this game. I guess if they have Lightning Bolt Spell Pierce, they get me. Okay. I'm just going to cast the Infantry. If they have Counterspell, they have Counterspell. But next turn we can go like Swiftspear, Channeler, Bauble, maybe Growth, maybe not Growth. Maybe, but I don't know. This is getting worse every single turn. I think just jamming this is fine. Oh yeah, I've seen Shriek Ball pop up and Living In a lot lately too. That's a good point. Hopefully I don't hit anything too good. Pretty good. Not the end of the world, but annoying. Good, that's a good draw though. Kind of looking for Underworld Breach, although Can I ever get away from Manamorphose? No, not with 2 channelers in play. I have Delirium also if I end up casting the Mutagenic Growth. They have Counterspell on top. It's a good card to know about. Okay, maybe Mutagenic Growth for like a big blowout in combat here too. So it looks like they're going Channeler, hold up Counterspell. If they counter this Manamorphose... Oh. Oh boy. Can I take you to Value Town? Let's go. I think I'll graveyard another growth. Could be fine to keep it. Settle the Wreckage, but it costs 0 mana. Oh no, Murktide. 5/5 Murktide though. Somewhat beatable. Kind of need to find a bolts. Wishing I had that Mutagenic Growth again. Okay, also finding Underworld Breach here is really nice. Ding 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 ding. So now I can just go Breach pass with the ability to Mutagenic Growth a bunch of times. Although I guess I should cast this Manamorphose first because that's going to be more fuel. Potentially can find me a land. But I think just going Breach is fine also. Oh wow, even one in hand. I think they're just dead. Breach pass, breach attack, and then let them block is what I mean by pass. Although, is it better to kill this Channeler? Yeah, killing the Channeler is I think good. There's a Lava Dart. Yeah, they're super dead. So last time I played this matchup, I think I got 1 Infiltree on the draw, 1 Crash Through, played 2 Blessing. Let's just do this again. Breach attack, pass priority. I will say that like these Breach turns feel way more powerful than anything any of the other Prowess variants are doing. And I do feel like Infiltree really does like round out the threats pretty well, but maybe you just play like 2 Infiltrees or something. We'll see. I think on the draw against Murktide this is maybe fine. We have Lava Dart for Channeler Ragavan. Mutagenic Growth is like your best card of the matchup. We have some Surveils maybe from the Channeler. We're also on the draw. Just simply draw to land, I think. An easy line. I think actually drawing that, I'm going to play Swiftspear so I can try to light up the stage next turn. 3 Infantry, 3 Breach. Right now I have 3 Breach. So yes, you could do that too, for sure. But I think like between 14 and 16 creatures is kind of the sweet spot for Prowess. In this mono red deck, I really feel like I've wanted extra threats for a while. Obviously, splashing a color is an option, but staying in mono red is so nice. Maybe just draw the land. So we'll go Channeler light up the stage here. How does Infantry compare with Fairy Dragon? I think Spray Dragon's better, but again, the big idea is like it still gives you that like crazy combo with Underworld Breach. It's like a good enough threat on its own, and it lets you stay mono red, which I think this deck does like to kind of want to, right? Maybe I Lava Dart this. No, let's go Mutagenic Growth. Then if my opponent's spell pierces the Mutagenic Growth, I can kill the Channeler. And save my Swiftspear. Another Lightning Bolt. So this is there's no Prowess triggers in the stack, but it's gonna become 5 toughness. So if I go dart, flashback, dart, I save my Swiftspear. And then I can play light up the stage post-combat to try to find another land. I think that that's probably worth it. Or not them surveil first. So Swiftspear Mutagenic Growth isn't quite a land, but it's not too bad either. They do have Delirium, so I'm not going to Mutagenic Growth here. Let's put them to 3 off this attack. Kill them with the lightning bolts. Huh. Yeah, let's Manamorphose. If I find Lava Darts, Lightning Bolts, Mutagenic Growth, all these are lethal. Cool. Pretty crazy to do this through 2 Lightning Bolts, Channeler, and Holy Heat. Like, my opponent used all of their mana every turn. They did miss their 3rd land drop, I guess, but... to kill on turn 3 through Channeler into Lightning Bolt, into Heat Relic. That is crazy. That is unreal. Unreal. Pretty exciting. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Although let me maybe weigh making a change or two. Was there any purpose to casting DRC? I mean, just, you know, sequencing. But I guess I'm not really playing around anything. Yeah, I can find darts, but there's not much they could realistically have besides force. That was a pretty decisive victory.